There comes a moment in every person's life when they stand at a crossroads. One path is easy, smooth, wide, and comfortable. The other is steep, lonely, and demanding. The world calls the first path freedom. The Stoics called it slavery. Slavery to impulse, slavery to emotion, slavery to weakness. The second path, the difficult one, is the path of discipline. For the Stoics, discipline was not punishment. It was not suffering. It was not self-denial for the sake of appearing strong. Discipline was the highest form of self-respect. It was the quiet declaration, I will not be ruled by the world. I will not be ruled by others. I will not be ruled by my impulses. I will rule myself. This script is a journey into that idea, a journey into the deepest Stoic understanding of discipline, why it matters, how it transforms a life, and why a disciplined human being becomes unstoppable. Chapter 1. Discipline, the first Stoic virtue. The Stoics believed there were four great virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Temperance is often translated as moderation or self-control, but at its core, temperance is discipline. It is the foundation upon which all other virtues stand. For what is wisdom without the discipline to apply it? What is courage without the discipline to remain firm? What is justice without the discipline to act consistently? Discipline is the spine of the Stoic soul. A person without discipline collapses under pressure. A disciplined person stands like a pillar in a storm. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that life is short, it is that we waste much of it." What is waste? Living without discipline. Hours slip, days slip, years slip, and finally, a lifetime slips. Not because destiny was cruel, but because discipline was absent. The Stoics knew this truth well. A life without discipline is a life spent in regret. Chapter 2. Why discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation is a visitor. It comes, it inspires, and then it leaves. It is borrowed strength. Discipline is a resident. It stays. It grows. It becomes part of your identity. The Stoics understood that no one rises to the level of their goals. They fall to the level of their habits, and habits are built with discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, not for the world, but for himself. At dawn, when you struggle to get out of bed, remember that you were born to work like a human being. He wasn't writing this because he was weak. He was writing it because he was human. Even an emperor needed discipline. Even a king needed a reminder. Why? Because the human mind is wired for comfort. The body seeks ease. The emotions seek escape. Motivation cannot overpower this permanently, but discipline can. Discipline is the locked door between you and your worst impulses. It is the inner general commanding the armies of your thoughts. When motivation dies, discipline continues. When emotions fluctuate, discipline stabilizes. When life becomes chaotic, discipline becomes your anchor. A motivated person starts. A disciplined person finishes. Chapter 3. Discipline is freedom. To the ordinary mind, discipline feels like restriction. Waking early, working when others relax, training when others sleep, saying no to desires that scream yes. But to the Stoics, this was not restriction. It was liberation. The undisciplined man is controlled by everything around him. His appetite, his laziness, his fear, his environment. The disciplined man is controlled by only one thing: himself. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And he was right. The person who cannot control his hunger is not free. The person who cannot control his phone is not free. The person who cannot control his emotions is not free. The person who cannot delay gratification is not free. The undisciplined man looks free on the outside, but he is chained from within. He is a prisoner of his impulses. A disciplined person, even if he lives in poverty, is rich in freedom, because freedom is not measured by what you can do. Freedom is measured by what you can refuse to do. Chapter 4. The disciplined mind, training your inner world. The Stoics trained the mind like a soldier trains the body. Their goal wasn't comfort, it was clarity. A disciplined mind sees reality as it is, not as it wishes. It does not avoid responsibility. It does not escape truth. It does not run from discomfort. Instead, it confronts life head-on. To build discipline, the Stoics practiced 1. Voluntary discomfort. They did difficult things on purpose. Fasting, cold exposure, physical strain, not to suffer, but to understand that discomfort cannot control them. 2. Premeditatio malorum. The practice of imagining difficulties before they happen. This trained the mind to remain calm when hardship arrived. 3. The evening reflection. Every night, Stoics reviewed their day. Where did I act without discipline? Where did I allow emotion to rule me? Where did I succeed? This was not self-judgment. It was self-training. A disciplined mind is a sharp sword. It cuts through noise. It cuts through excuses. It cuts through weakness. Chapter 5. Discipline and Pain. The price of greatness. The world often fears pain. The Stoics embraced it, not because they loved suffering, but because they understood its purpose. Pain is the sculptor of character. Pain is the tutor of strength. Pain is the doorway to mastery. Nothing great has ever been built without discomfort. Muscles grow from resistance. Skills grow from repetition. Wisdom grows from failure. Patience grows from hardship. Discipline grows from struggle. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances the action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This was not poetry. This was a strategy. When something becomes difficult, that is the signal to continue, not to quit. When you feel like stopping, that is the very moment discipline begins. Everyone can work when it feels good. Discipline is working when it feels unbearable, because the Stoics understood pain is temporary. The strength it builds is permanent. Chapter 6. Discipline in Daily Life. The Stoic Routine. Stoicism is not theory. It is practice. Daily practice. A disciplined life is built from simple, consistent actions. Morning discipline. Rise early. Begin grateful. Plan the day. Strengthen the mind before entering the world. Marcus Aurelius began his day reminding himself that he would meet difficult people, and that discipline was the antidote. Work discipline. Stoics worked without complaint, without procrastination, and without emotional drama. They believed, if it must be done, do it well. Body discipline. A weak body weakens the mind. A disciplined body sharpens the mind. Stoics trained not for vanity, but for resilience. Evening discipline. Reflection. Correction. Improvement. Not guilt. Not self-attack. Self-mastery. Chapter 7. Discipline versus desire. Taming the inner animal. Inside every person lives two beings. 1. The animal, driven by desire. 2. The human, driven by reason. The undisciplined person lives as the animal, chasing pleasure, running from discomfort, reacting instead of choosing. The disciplined person lives as the human, thinking, choosing, acting with purpose. This battle between desire and reason is the battlefield of Stoicism. Desire says, sleep more, relax, do it tomorrow. You deserve easy. Reason says, you have work, you have potential, you have responsibility, you can be better. The Stoics taught that discipline is choosing reason over impulse. Seneca wrote, "There is no easy path to greatness. If it were easy, it would not be great." Desire is momentary. Discipline is eternal. Chapter 8. Discipline in Emotions. The Stoic calm. Stoic discipline was not only physical, it was emotional. Anyone can stay calm when life is easy. A disciplined soul stays calm during storms. The Stoics practiced emotional discipline by 1. Separating opinion from fact. It is not things that upset us, but our judgment about things. Feelings are not truth. Emotions are not commands. 2. Controlling the response. Anger rises, but you decide whether to act on it. Fear rises, but you decide whether to retreat. Sadness rises, but you decide whether to continue. 3. Remaining unmoved by insults or praise. The disciplined person does not collapse under insults and does not worship praise. He stands unmoved, governed by principles, not by opinions. Chapter 9, Discipline and Purpose. Know your North Star. A disciplined life without purpose becomes punishment. A disciplined life with purpose becomes power. To the Stoics, purpose was essential. It provided direction for discipline to flow. When you know your purpose, waking early feels right. Working harder feels meaningful. Sacrifices feel fair. Difficulties feel necessary. Discipline becomes natural. Marcus Aurelius believed every person has a role in the universe, a duty, and fulfilling that duty is the highest form of discipline. Chapter 10, The Disciplined Identity. Becoming unstoppable. A disciplined person does not try harder. A disciplined person becomes someone who does not quit. Discipline becomes not an action, but an identity. You don't force yourself to go to the gym. You are someone who trains. You don't force yourself to work. You are someone who does his duty. You don't force yourself to avoid distractions. You are someone who values time. Identity is the most powerful form of discipline. The Stoics believe, first, tell yourself who you must be, then act accordingly. When discipline becomes who you are, comfort loses its power. Excuses lose their voice. Weakness loses its influence. You become unstoppable. Chapter 11, The World Needs the Disciplined. Look around. Most people are lost in distraction. Most people are slaves to habit. Most people are controlled by emotion. A disciplined person stands out like fire in darkness. His presence inspires. His actions awaken others. His consistency becomes a message. The world does not need more talent. The world needs more discipline, because discipline turns talent into mastery and turns ordinary people into leaders. Chapter 12, Final Stoic Lesson. Discipline is love. In the end, discipline is not about suffering. It is not about hardness. It is not about punishment. Discipline is love. Love for your future. Love for your potential. Love for your purpose. The undisciplined life is a life of self-betrayal. The disciplined life is a life of self-respect. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This is the essence of discipline. Not talking, not wishing, not promising, doing, becoming, rising. Conclusion. Walk the Stoic path. The value of discipline is not measured in difficulty. It is measured in transformation. Discipline is not a cage. It is a key, not a burden, a blessing, not a restriction, a revelation. The Stoic path is not the easy path, but it is the path that creates greatness. If you want strength, choose discipline. If you want peace, choose discipline. If you want mastery, choose discipline. If you want freedom, choose discipline. Because, in the end, discipline is destiny. Discipline is freedom. Discipline is power. Discipline is you at your highest potential.